Temperatures, we thought we'd show you a fun craft that you can make with your kids or grandkids. Today we're showing you how to make your own thermometer to help keep track of our temperatures. So let's get started here. This is using a jar, glass jar, and this is kind of the completed version here of the thermometer. And obviously you'll take this outside and see how it reacts to the warmer temperatures, but using a shorter neck bottle also works. Okay. And I just picked this up. You can use an old soda bottle too. But another thing that we need is a clear straw. Those, you can use an old straw from, fast food place. Oh, really? I was able to just pick up these clear straws from Walmart, but you also need water and rubbing alcohol. So we're going to pour that into the jar, and the rubbing alcohol is needed to get a better mixture that's more reactive to the temperatures. You can do it without the rubbing alcohol, but with it, just make sure you have adult supervision.
So that is rubbing alcohol
yes.
in there,
so we're going to pour, water's in here.
Okay, that's water.
So you can have a sip now, but, but not anymore. Not anymore.
So we're going to pour some of that in here.
Do you just kind of guess? It doesn't need to be, I'm guessing.
It doesn't need to be a perfect ratio. Okay. Again, we're just trying to make it more temperature sensitive.
Okay.
And I'm just going to put a couple of drops of food coloring in here as well so that we can
Can you use any color food coloring?
You can do any color, but red with the hot temperatures I thought would be appropriate.
Okay.
We'll stir that up with our straw a little bit. And then when we're using the modeling clay, to kind of make it airtight
Seal
up top. Yes,
okay.
Exactly. And when we do that, we don't want to have the straw touch the bottom of the bottle. That way the water can come up the straw. Sure. So that's going to be the whole point of this, is that as the water heats up, and I've got some hot water here, we'll see if this works to heat this up, but it takes a little while for this to work. Outside is where you're going to want to take this experiment.
Where the real
heat
heat
is. In our cool
is.
studio.
So all it is water, rubbing alcohol, a clear straw.
Correct.
And make sure it's sealed.
Yep, with the modeling clay. And the way this works is as the water heats up, it expands. And it doesn't have anywhere else to go but to go up the straw.
Gotcha.
So if we take our graphics full here, you'll see how this experiment worked out for me yesterday with our hot temperatures in the sun. You could see that red liquid coming right up that straw. And you can make this a little bit more complicated if you wanted to. You could put a index card marker on the top of the straw in order to mark the temperatures. So if you want to do this over several days, you could use an actual thermometer to mark the temperatures on the card for accuracy and see what days were hotter than other days.
Oh, interesting.
That was my next question. How do you know how hot? You see it coming up, and there
you
go.
Yeah, more red in the straw.
So it takes a little bit more effort if you want to go that next step. So this is with the make your own thermometer here. I wanted to go on to another experiment here.
Okay.
I'm going to go around here.
Sure.
Okay.
This is talking about dew points versus relative humidity.
Okay.
So if you load up our weather app, sometimes it'll show the relative humidity percentage. Sometimes it'll show the dew point as well. Dew point is a lot better measure of the amount of moisture in the air, and that's how humid it feels outside. So we have three different size glasses here: a shot glass, kind of a medium-sized glass, and a mug here. So envision this as the potential of how hot our temperatures can get. The shot glass is 55 degrees, the medium-sized glass is 75 degrees, and then the mug is 95 degrees. Okay. So I'm going to pour water into each of these so that they're 50% full. And it's going to take a lot of water for the mug. So this is going to represent the amount of moisture or water vapor, that invisible gas in our atmosphere. So each one of these has 50% relative humidity. If you were to look at your weather sensor or something along those lines, it's just relating the temperature to the amount of moisture in the air. So sometimes the relative humidity can be ineffective at telling you how moist or how humid it is outside, when in reality, like if you were to say 50% relative humidity, that's not that humid, right? But the dew point is going to be a lot better indicator of how humid it is. For the shot glass, it's 37 degrees for the dew point. For the medium-sized glass, it's 55 degrees for the dew point. And then for the mug, it's 74 degrees for the dew point. So when the dew point gets above 60 degrees, you really feel that mugginess or that more humid air. So it's a really good visual representation of the moisture in the air and how much potential that hotter atmosphere has to hold more moisture. And then the dew point being able to quantify that measure of how much moisture there is. And when that dew point is pretty high, you can see that there's a lot of water in the air.
Yeah.
And that also impacts our sweat too, because we sweat, we get drenched in it if it's really humid outside. Or the way that evaporates into the air is less effective because there's a lot more moisture there.
It's like you're drying off with a wet towel.
Exactly. So that's how it's going to feel today with the heat and humidity. So a couple fun science experiments here.
Yeah,
maybe
you
on
can all do
thermometer,
these at home.
and then talking and explaining about dew points.
Sounds great.
Yes.
Great.